Welcome to the Teacher's Toolkit for Literacy, the free podcast for motivated teachers and school leaders who want to inspire their students and school community in literacy learning. Make sure you subscribe to the show on your favourite podcast player, and for more amazing literacy resources, check out the show notes provided with every episode.
Hi, I'm Sharon, and I'm the host of A Teacher's Toolkit for Literacy. In every Toolkit episode, we bring you specific resources, tools, strategies, tips, techniques to help you in your job as a teacher of literacy. Firstly, we acknowledge and pay our respects to the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians whose ancestral lands we gather on. We acknowledge the deep feelings of attachment and relationship of the Kaurna people to country, and we respect and value their past, present, and ongoing connection to the land and cultural beliefs. Boori might like to tell us or introduce more about himself as we welcome him to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome, Boori. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. That was a great introduction. Almost got there. Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to the podcast as well. So, I'm from up Queensland way, of course. I'm a Murray man, and I'm from around the Yoruba, Kunggandji, and from down towards Bowen. That's on my mum's side up there, and then down towards Bowen, Boori. So I think that all of my learnings through growing up there has been put me in good stead, because it's a bit different. I'm writing this other thing about, holidays and stuff. Well, we never actually had holidays. I just went home and we went out on country. It was that was the holiday.
Yeah.
And
you've done lots of work in schools and education and
I have,
in the arts. Yeah.
Yes, I should have been in Adelaide last week. So
right.
Yeah, that was from the start of the year. I missed the start of the year. Usually I do 3 to 4 weeks there. So I missed last year. I was only there for about a week, and they said, get out. And then I said, okay.
Right.
And then so I was just speaking to someone else from Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, and I said, can you do us a favour? She said, what? I said, can you get up and go over and close the door? She said, why? Because we don't want any more germs coming over. So I do a lot of work in Adelaide. I love Adelaide at that time of the year, around the Writers Festival.
Yes, it's great time.
I'm
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
So I go over there every year. So what was I going to say? I keep asking me questions then.
Yeah, okay. And also you've written books.
I have. If I can remember them in order, maybe tomorrow, my Gurubana, Bina Bina Ban, Bina Bina Man, Nunjula Son, Fly Trap, Shake a Leg, and now Story Doctors.
Yes. Yeah. And that's really our, the focus. In fact, this is the week that Story Doctors is launched.
Yes.
It is. It is. Yes. I'm very pleased with that. We people keep asking me, so how did you know that it was like healing country, when you wrote this last year?
Yeah.
And I said, I had no idea. I said, some people might say it's a black thing. I don't know. But it just happened that I wrote Story Doctors, and then it was just, they said, we'll do it for NAIDOC Week next year. And we planned to actually to have it launched in NAIDOC Week this year.
Yes.
And we didn't know it was healing country.
Well, maybe the theme of NAIDOC Week came the other way around. Maybe it's
let's say that.
Yes.
Let's say that my influence is overwhelming.
Yes.
And you've also been a performer.
Yes.
Worked in film and television, and all sorts of things. Yeah.
Well, I think that in most people in this kind of work, or acting or doing plays or whatever, you just got to know about lots of things. Otherwise, you get lost. Something gets stopped, and then you go, oh, okay. Yep. So the performing think I've always wanted to write, and I did take a TAFE course. I took a TAFE course in Melbourne for about 3 months, down Flinders Lane somewhere, I think it was.
Yes.
And because I'm very afraid of people asking about writing, because I'm very slow, and because I'm not fast at all. And then the teacher that had me was for 3 months. Just really helped me, and of course I had a great teacher at high school, and I talk a lot about him. He's a big, tall, hairy man, and he was that hairy that you didn't know whether he was born or knitted. And but he was suave, sophisticated, debonair, elegant, a bit like James Bond with lots of hair.
Right.
We actually nicknamed him Double O Hairy. Double O Hairy was the most amazing teacher, and he was the one that got me to write. He was the one that had faith in me about writing.
Isn't it amazing how a teacher can turn your whole life around?
Yep.
You get those special teachers, and you always remember them for the rest of your life.
Well, I used me and my mates used to get in trouble. They used to get me in trouble, apparently, and then he'd keep us in, and it was like, and I'd be swearing at him, calling him names under my breath, of course, and then later on in life, I just had this feeling that here I was swearing at him, and not one day did he ever swear at me.
Yeah.
And we were blaming him for keeping us in. He never blamed us once for keeping him in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a great way of
perspective.
So, and now he's given me this gift, and I've got 7 books, and I'm writing film scripts and doing other stuff. So thanks to him in a big way, and Mum and Dad, of course.
Yes.
They're all great writers. So I think that, getting back to that point of teachers, we need you.
Yes, yes. Oh, we need them more than ever. And talking about your beautiful book, Story Doctors, how did? Should we start with?
Well, well, I feel like you should introduce it, but I just wanted to, on the back of the book, it starts that this is a book for everybody.
Yes.
Welcome. Take a seat and listen carefully, because this story has a heartbeat. Can you feel it there in your chest? Boori, you are inviting us in to the heartbeat in this story. So the Story Doctor, just called Story Doctors. Take us into it.
How did it come about?
Well, first of all, the back was Elise Jones, one of our editors. She's amazing. She's a very dear, close friend.
Yes.
And she has this thing about writing everything down I say.
Right.
And what she did is she wrote that piece on the back, and it was like, made me cry, because it was like, summed up the book really well.
Yes, yeah.
So as I say in the foreword, and I might read that later,
Yes.
is that I had I don't know why, but it was about 3 years ago, 2 to 3, I had this feeling that one day Australia was going to get really sick, and what we're going to need is some medicine, and it wasn't the kind of medicine that you go to your chemist, I suppose, or your doctor, and it was stories from this land. Now, a lot of times people and kids and everyone relate medicine to like being sick, but also to you need to go to the pharmacy, get a prescription, and then get all of the things you need to solve, I suppose, to deal with what's wrong with you internally, I suppose.
Yeah.
So what I thought is that what I was getting sick from was people not understanding things, I suppose, in the right way.
Yeah.
Yes.
and there was nothing that had been done. And as teachers, is that how long it took for us to get anything to do with culture put in so that kids could be there, so that it could be there for the kids to learn from.
Yes,
and we all had to fight tooth and nail to get it there. And that shouldn't be. That should not be. It should be at the forefront.
That's
and
right.
It should be, and it should be ours, because it's us.
Yep.
So I think that a lot of people put aside things about laughter and feeling good. When you hear a good story, you might cry, you might laugh, you might do both. You might want to pass that on to someone else. But I think that the lack of belonging within oneself makes you sick.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's the idea that where I was coming from, is that, I was getting sick because I felt like I didn't belong because people were telling me, you're not full blood, you're not this, you're not that. And I'm going, oh, okay. And then it's like, from the time I growing up as a young person to now, it's like, well, where do I sit, not only within myself, but within my family and my culture and the rest of the country? So I did lots and lots and lots and lots of work to actually deal with it, to kind of like, I was at school, dealt with things the wrong way, with my anger, and of course, you're a young person, of course you can do that, and that's what happened back in the day. So it was like, got older, and kids go, so did you do poetry and verse because you wanted to do this and that? I said, no, I wrote poetry and verse because I knew girls would like it.
Right.
And after a couple of years, I found out it wasn't working either. But I actually quite liked. One thing good about Double O'Hare is that he really got me into Shakespeare, and I just loved. I loved the collectiveness and power of words that Shakespeare used, and the way it's used in the way he spoke or in the plays, and just the delicacy in the delicate dance of words and the power of, when the Othello and the power of that deep voice, and it just I'm like, oh, I like this, but also loved, all songs like the Beatles are my favourite, of course, and just the play with words and the way they worked. And as I got older, I learned more about how they worked as a team and the way they structured their stuff, and just any kind of words. And I'll read something in the paper and go, oh, well, I like that. Martin Flanagan, I love reading his stuff in the Age, and because I'd ring him up and kind of go, name dropping here, I'd ring him up and I'd go, I like this bit here, and I'd read it out to him. Oh, thanks, boy. So it was like, so I just like something or a phrase, just that will stick with me in a song or somebody saying something, So I just loved that from when I was little, when I was little, but also I was talking about Double O'Hare before, and I remember I was riding my bike home. I just got this bike from the dump, and we fixed it up. And I was riding home, and I had streamers on it, pink ones. Yes. And then I was showing off to all the girls, and I'm doing wheelies and I flipped the bike up and nearly killed myself. And of course, the girls are like riding past and going, oh, leave him there, let him die, kind of thing. And I was like, I'm going, I don't care, I think I am going to die. But then I was laying down, and you know how you fall over sometimes, and you go, and somebody, you all right? And you go, jump up, yeah, I'm fine. And you go around the corner, and you go,
yes, you're not all right, yes.
Yeah, and then, so I didn't care, I was just laying on the ground, and I was like crying. And I sat up a bit, and there was something shiny in the dust where I was crying, my tears. And I picked it up, and there was this rainbow button, like you get in when your computer's not working and it twirls around.
Yes,
yes. Got all the little things. Yep. Well, this button looked like that. So I got this button, took it out, polished, and put it up next to on the windowsill where my frog used to sit. And then I'd hold it up when the sun was going down and coming up, and I'd see all the little little stories. I thought of stories for each colour. So I wrote an essay on a story for each colour, and so I gave it to Double O Harry, and he loved it, and he put it into this, and I won an award for it.
Fantastic.
So what I'm saying then is that I had to almost die to write it.
Right.
And no one really cared that I was going to die or not. But I wrote this beautiful piece, and thank you to the beautiful girls that rode past me and left me to die. So at least I won some. I didn't win any hearts, but I won a competition. So that was cool.
Well,
So I think those little things are the ones that really, spark you, that you actually can do something, and you it's there on the paper. And of course, back in the day, we never had computers and whatever. I think it was under the bed for a while, and then just got lost. The little piece that I wrote. So, anyway, so getting back to the point of just where it came from, Story Doctors.
yes.
As I said before, is that I didn't know. I had an idea that I had to write something, and I wanted to write something. And you know what it's like. There's a blank piece of paper there, and you got to go, okay, start out with a blank piece of paper and one word. So I was like, okay. So I did that, and I'll talk about it in 4 words. And then, and it's really funny because I feel that it was there, and it knew how it wanted to be done, and it relied on me to do it. And that was really weird because I just followed the path of where the thing was going. And then once I got 2 lines in, I said, now we're talking to each other, these 2 lines. From whence we came, the sum of some observed the tracks from where we'd come. Heel and toe tread heat and snow, impressions left behind, a footprint so maligned. So I was like, yeah, I'm liking that. So then I kind of worked on the next line, and then the next line. So I didn't know where I was going. I was just letting it lead me to where it wanted me to go. That's really weird.
But you listened.
Yeah.
But you listened,
Yes, I did.
And and you also let the pain wash over you too, because it wasn't an easy write.
It was not at all. You just had to. Why should I be nice to this to people who won't listen? And then and maybe it's me that's not listening. No, I had to say that, and it's like, and it's not about me being bigger than anyone else, but it's me being bigger than myself.
Yes.
To say, no, you have to, if you want to, make a difference, you have to make a difference to yourself first. So it's like, then that's where the beating up came, inside and outside, and going back to when I was a kid, and all those not too good memories, and just kind of go, well, you can do something that is important and can make a difference, So it's like, and again, it goes back to making a difference. It's all about yourself. It's like, hey, what you're going to do, not what you expect other people for you to do anything. But it's it's about timing, and I think this was the right time for me to do this as well.
Yep.
And I've always learnt that when I'm writing something, I might get stuck and I might have to leave it for 2 years. And you know what that means? That I've got to grow up.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm writing.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that I can't understand the writing, it's the writing can't understand me because I'm not a grown-up person and I haven't dealt with issues. So it's like, I think that's what I learned from doing this one, and apparently it's really powerful, and I have no idea if it is or not, and it's like, and that's the greatness of something that you do, and it's like you just kind of go, I did that and it's done, It's like, so I think when I read through it and read it to people, and people get the cadence and get the rhythm and and I go, wow, that's really cool, They got the breathing in it, and it's got all of those things in it, and people get that, and so I really like that, which means that the pain and suffering wasn't, that I had to work on myself wasn't wasted, So I think, so then I started, and the great thing about Rita Sinclair, who actually is the most amazing artist, is that, and Julie Morrison, who is a great friend of ours, said that Rita's a really good listener. Mm-hmm. And when we were editing, we had Davina and Elise, me, and Rita on Zoom, and we'd be talking, and Rita's screen would be blank, and we'd be trying to discuss this point, and it'd be like 5 minutes in, and we'd go, Rita, are you there? And then Rita would say, oh, it's all right, I'm marinating. Oh. and then she put a screen back on, and she said, do you reckon this would work? And what she was doing was sketching things, and she'd put it up on screen, and the two editors would go, Elise and Davina would go, oh, gee, that's great.
Yeah.
So, she has this capacity to do that, Rita. So I think that's what made it easy for me and the editors, is that there was no, there was this great, I suppose, awareness, because Rita and I have been trying to do another book for 10 years, Right. We started years ago, nearly 9 years ago, and it's called Knowing, and that'll be out probably next year.
Oh, so another partnership, lovely.
Yes. So we're so slack. 9 years, we're going. Oh, now we know how to bloody do it. It's like that. So it's like so, and this other one we got is pretty cool as well. So I think. And it's that awareness of each other, but also that she has a gift, as a real gift, Rita.
Yes.
And I think that it's in everybody's life and world, is that if you have green in your heart, then green will grow around you. If you have darkness in your heart, then nothing can grow around you. So I think that kind of is the element that makes this book work, is that everybody is a great gardener, and we had this thing, the four of us, we called ourselves the Beatles, the story doctors edition. All right.
Yep.
That's
so. Yeah.
So do you think it's that most of us are not aware of the healings that we need? Is that what's going on here?
You're very right. I think that it's a pretty basic point, really, because what's the thing that we need to do is to feel like we belong. Well, we don't have that. Because we haven't dealt with terra nullius. And we haven't dealt with the things that happened after that.
Yep.
So it's a pretty basic, evident. You can't walk around it or over it or through it.
No.
You're going to keep tripping over it all the time and smashing your face. So it's like, well, that's the point. It's evident that we're still sick. We're not, because we're not dealing with this. And then if we dealt with it properly, then it would take, probably years after I go.
Yes.
We'll have started.
Yeah.
And then we can argue about things that really matter.
Yeah. Stand tall.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, so I'm not getting too political or whatever. It's just a basic point of, it's right there in front of us, but we don't want to speak about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like we're all humming around it, but let's see it. Let's open the boil and get all the pus out.
Yes.
And, and then put some, like I said, the children are the healers. They're the ones that that are I do this thing where I was out at Black Rock Preschool, and I said, "Okay, kids, give your teachers a wave and say hello, teachers." And the kids give them a wave, and say hello, teachers. And I said, "Now, teachers, give your children a wave and say hello, teachers." And the teachers go, "Hello, teachers." And the kids were like, "What? Hold on." No, and I said, "Teachers, do they teach you stuff?" And the teachers go, "Every day."
Yeah.
And the kids go, "Whoa." And then I say, "And you are my Band-Aids." They go, "What?
Yeah.
Band-Aids?" And a little girl in front one day said, "Are you hurt?" I said, "Sometimes people get hurt inside where you can't see, and they need a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And every time I come to your school, you give me Band-Aids." "Teachers, do they give you Band-Aids?" And teachers go, "Every day." So, like even this morning, I was locked out from COVID last year, and I did this school out at Eltham, little preschool. A little girl raced up and she said, "You know what, Boori? I haven't seen you since I was 4.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And what is she now? 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then of course, she said, and I looked at her and she said, and I did this thing where I get them to do jumping high in the story, and she said, "Can you see that I'm jumping higher now?" And I said, "Sure do." So there's 3 Band-Aids that I got today.
Yes.
So you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like,
yeah.
and they were acting out a traditional story.
Yeah.
So whenever I don't say I'm going to tell you a story. No, I'm going to give you the story to keep with you forever.
Well, I like that shift, Boori. I'm not telling you a story. I'm giving you a story.
Forever.
Yep.
Yes.
So they feel really lovely about that.
Yes.
They go, "Oh, can we keep it?" I say, "Yep."
Yeah.
Everybody grab it and hold it to your chest, and this is yours forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
yep.
Sorry, that's exactly what you've done in the book, Story Doctors, is you've given a story. And we haven't had this story. We haven't had it in these words. And because this story there's entry points for any child into this story. Yes. It's beautifully illustrated. That story that you are giving is allowing the stories, as you talk about in the book, the stories can unite us.
Yes.
And we, often on our podcast we talk about, the importance of stories opening doors for thinking and conversation and, coming to an understanding of what is being said here. So I'd love you to tell us a little bit more about, like you've already, not necessarily with this book, but when you give children stories and when you open those doors for that, tell us about the little, I think you got a letter or an email from a little person.
A little person, yes. So I think that probably what we don't realise is that, as adults, and we rummage around and we do lots of different things, and then we treat children as children, which is okay, but we don't realise that the little ones are starving for more things about their country. Yes. Now, I go to this school over in Footscray, and I got a little bro there that we're good mates. So, I've known him from about 2-year-old onward, and they always get me to come back, and I always go to the next group that are coming up, and we share and we dance and I put paint on them when we used to be able to put paint on them, and then the kids, we get involved in the story. We do art and everything. So the whole journey of the hour is ends up in artwork and drawing and them kids talking. So we enact all the plays, we do the dances and we do all the songs, and then we go and sit down. And I got this letter, and it says here, "This is the kinder teacher that you met at Saltwater Childcare Centre in Footscray last week. Hello, everyone. I hope you are well. We love having you, and you are my favourite visitor of the year, so thank you." I just wanted to write to you because I had this child who was crying this morning. He was sobbing, actually, with tears rolling down his cheeks. He was saying that next year he will be at primary school and is devastated that he won't see you at Saltwater again. So I suggested we write you a letter email, and he really liked this idea. And it goes like this. Dear Boori Monty Prior, I won't see you again because I'm going to school. I really love you. I love your teaching us. I love you putting the paint on us. I love the dancing and the singing. You're the best Aboriginal in the world. My name is Jonah. Love from Jonah. So,
beautiful.
If anybody argues with me who's the best, then I'm going, I am.
Yes, Jonah has confirmed that.
Spoken.
Yes, he has spoken.
Not just in Australia, in the world.
In the world.
Get in line, all you other black fellas. Get in line.
So when you give story, when you work in schools, now you have given us story through Story Doctors.
Yeah.
So that means we as teachers can give this story.
Yes.
When you wrote it, how did you see this coming or being brought to not just First Nations children, but any children? Because this is the story of healing. So
I think I explained it to you before about, I went up home and I worked in the detention centre up in Townsville and the Flexi Centre, which is the homeless kids and stuff. And I read it in the prison and I said, tell me what's not in there. And then in the prison they said, after I'd read it, they said, there's no anger in there, there's no malice, there's no Black Lives Matter, there's no reconciliation, there's no close the gap, there's no land rights, there's no, whatever. And then I read it again. I said, now tell me what's in there. And in the prison, there was like a minute's silence and someone said, us. In the Flexi Centre, same thing. They said, there was no animosity, anger, and they said kind of like the same things. And I said, tell me what's in there. And they said inclusiveness. So I think that's what the work was all about, to allow, there's no kind of, pointing fingers, blaming.
No.
It's just like and you see that we've got the 2 pages bare with words. Elise came up with that great idea. Elise Jones, thank you.
Yes.
And that leave it blank and no words. So we'll see that's what it's like before and that's what it's like after. This is what happens when you dam rivers and grow cotton. And it's the driest continent in the world and 30% desert. So we've got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't, we actually sit and watch them do it and watch them dam. And then the political rhetoric is, we have to do it for the economy.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, nothing's ever going to grow again there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I think we're our own worst enemy, when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And I say it, through the verse, it's like, it's here for you. Like we've had so much experience over 80,000 years that we have the knowledge, but you don't want to tap into it.
Yeah.
You just want to take what you need for selling art or whatever in the economy. I said, well, what about our kids?
Yeah.
What about their kids? Stop thinking about selfish and being selfish and thinking about yourself. So I think that's kind of what comes through and that's why I say, when after the blank pages and I go, so this new way of learning, is it really so concerning? Well, if you try, you will spy the reason there's no treason, which means, so this new way of learning of blackfellas is it really so concerning? What's the concern about that? And if you try, you will spy the reason there's no trees, and you're not giving up on yourself. It belies your size. Just drink the story through your eyes. So that's kind of what I'm saying there. It's not blaming. It's saying, look, you're missing out if you don't look at yourself first and just look at this and drink it through your eyes, and see how you feel about it. Don't just come in and take stuff, because that's not what we do in our culture. You have to earn the right to be given stuff.
Yep.
Just because you are this particular person, you don't get it. You have to earn the right to get it. So I think that's what we have to do in this country. Is we have to earn the right to get the respect and love and the stories. And by saying, our leader saying there was no slavery in Australia is not going to help. So I think, it just frustrates me. And again, like most people, but I don't know. I just think that we can do much better than that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the question that you ask, what is this story not about?
Yep.
And what is this story about is, I think that the two great questions that teachers can really, because children will, if we're working with younger students, we're going to, like, their insights, they're going to come at it from their understanding about things. And I often think that younger students have actually a better understanding of many more of these things because they actually don't have the other layers. Some of the other layers, upon it. And I think they'll, come through quite truthfully and honestly about
genuine.
Yes, genuinely, authentically about those things. So I think they are two really powerful questions to open the conversations about these things, open the thinking, the conversations, and to start being united by this story, because this is a story of healing. This isn't a story of blame.
Yes.
This is what can we do from here? What kinds of thinking do we need to take forward? What kinds of relationship with the land do we need to take forward?
I was going to say that like the First Nations people have such a long connection, deep connection with the land. In a way, that connection's been broken, and for some Aboriginal people, it was broken when things changed. But it's trying to get that connection for all of us together as a whole Australian people, that we can all get connected, much more connected with that land. That we belong to the land, really, rather than the other way around. We don't own the land.
Yes.
The land owns us.
Yes. And I think that's kind of like what I'm working with the little kids to actually, I suppose, my little bit, and other people are doing great stuff. They're doing great things in all nations in this state are doing great work, And I've been like, when I work at schools, when I go to preschools, and they're going, well, we've got Bunjil here, we've got this, and I'm going, this is great, and we need that, And same as in Adelaide, they've got, my nephew's from over there, Jason. So, he's not working there, he's out of Point Pierce. So, So, just when I go over there every year, it's I just love. I work out at Ghana Plains. I work out at there every year.
Oh,
I do I'll go out there for a day or a couple of hours every year. I go over there. I've been going over there for years.
I was going to say we've done some work there too. It's a wonderful environment for the children.
Yeah. And they always love this story about the frog, and then when I retell it 5 times after 5 years, they go, no, you missed a bit, So they're on to me. So and it's great that I've been going there, and the books have been growing out of me, and they've been growing out of the books. So, which is great. They've seen the growth of the books and the films, and the teachers. So I think that's really cool. So, I love going over there and working with the littlies and the biggies and the high school kids as well. So,
yes, yep.
And it's just,
the connection to the land and the healing. The book raises an awareness, and it hopefully it's going to take us all further, into these areas to grow together.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I think that you can just, as a singular person, you can do as much as you possibly can from the way you deal with it, the way, whoever you are. And hopefully another person's filling another spot, and they don't have to be like Indigenous, just anybody who's trying to work to find out how we can make it work, and everyone is important, within the structure of making us better. And I think that it's not a black or white thing. It's just an us thing that we have to actually work on, and the things that have been put in place always try to separate us as people, not just Aboriginal people, but all of us as people. I don't care what your name is or where you're from. It's like like I was at Ringwood Secondary. I've been going there for 25 years. And this year I just walked in and I said, well, everybody, you say, this is my country. And I got them to yell it out. And then after the noise went down, I said, yeah, but do you belong? Do you feel like you belong?
Yeah.
And there was like a big silence. And a few kids put their hands up and said no.
Yep.
And I said, well, that's great that you can say that, because I'm sorry, but it's going to be up to you to make that happen. Because the grown-ups now in charge are not doing a very good job.
So then you think there's, you see the young ones coming up getting more involved politically eventually and taking greater control in that area?
Yeah, I think on all, across all ages and across all cultures, I suppose. And again, we separate each other. Well, not we separate each other, but the things that are in charge separate us. And they have a purpose and to be in control. And it's like, well, we've got to really work hard to, and we are, we have like amazing teachers that work really hard to now we've got like the welcoming for the preschools. The kids do a welcome,
yes.
Which is like, not coming from the top. This is coming from the bottom.
Yeah. Yep.
And who's pushing it? The kids.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they want to know.
Yep.
So it's really weird, because I think we all have to work really hard to get the people in charge to do what they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Is to listen and to allow things to grow.
Yeah. And I think at the teacher level, teachers have got a unique connection with their own communities. They've got their they've got their class newsletter. They can speak directly to the parents, and they've got a voice there to, connect with their own community, and the children can as well through that newsletter or whatever platform they use. So, yeah.
And also, I think that the parents are pretty amazing too. They'll they'll come in and they'll do stuff and I haven't actually heard of one parent that wasn't on board with stuff. So I think with just learning about their own I did a bunch of preschools down towards Frankston there, and they are working so hard. They've got Bunjil, they've got Ian Hunter coming in, they've got other Koori fellows and women coming in to work with the kids, and that's the base points. That's and the kids want to know, and they want to say language, and they want to learn about Bunjil, and it's like, well, this is great. So that'll put them in good stead. At least they've got one foot in the earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're winning, and it's coming from, from the bottom.
Yeah.
Most times it always does. And it always comes in through the teachers, Like, I mean, my love of writing comes through, not only my maths teacher, but my English teacher. So, you know what I mean? It's like, to give me that confidence to write. And so, he's done a good job because I was Australian first ever with Alison Lester, Australian Children's Laureate. So, but also won the Prime Minister's Literary Award, but also just and I look at all that stuff and I go, that's pretty amazing,
Yeah.
And we're having a launch up in Townsville at my old school, Garbutt State School, and we're going to launch it in my library because they built a library years ago, and it's named, and I'm not dead yet. So it's like,
oh,
fantastic.
fabulous, fabulous! So it's being launched. It's being launched in your home.
Town, my
hometown, home school, home library. How about
that?
that?
I know, and it's like I was just looking at a picture of me when I was little, and I had big ears then, and I had this little face in the front of the school. So it's like I'm going, and now I'm going back this year, still breathing, and I'm going to launch a book.
Yes, so. And
that's an inspiration for all the kids to say, I come from a school and I can one day write a book, or it's an achievement. Yeah.
I was at my other school around the corner, my mate's school, and these two little black fellas always don't turn up on time. They're always in about midday or something. And so I come for the week. So you know what? They're in there at 7 o'clock, 7:30, waiting. So it is grade 3, I think they were 4 or something.
Yes.
And I go and sit down and I'm talking to them, and they're sitting on the swing in their chair, their feet under the table, where they're sitting. I go, so you guys, I hear you've been late all the time and stuff. Yeah, my sister, she goes and uses all the milk, and then we have to wait, and then we have to go. I said, what, you have to wait and go out and milk the cows? And then you have to wait till the sun comes up and then find the cows, and then you go and milk them, and then you can have your breakfast. No, there's no cows. It's just that we got to wait till the shop's open, So then it's and I said, well, how come you're early for the week I'm here? And they both looked at me and said, duh, because you're here.
So funny.
So really cool. So I thought, that's good. So, we have to get to school, Mum, because Boori's here for the week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, your voice, it's all the work that you do in schools and the importance of, as we said, that message and the stories that you're giving, but now through this book, that voice that you have and that you've really, it was hard. And maybe the writing process, do you think the writing process brought some healing?
I think it did. I'm pretty, because I finished it last year, and this is can you imagine? Usually it takes 3 to 4 years to do a book.
Yes.
This only took under a year.
So
I finished it and I read it to my agent, and I read it to my publisher, and they both said book. And then about 3 weeks later, we're talking contract. And then we have to get an artist, or illustrator, so I got one.
Yes.
What's she like? She's great.
Yeah.
And they sent me 20 other people, and I said, no, I want Rita. And then Rita got on board, and it was straight away. They said, who is this woman? she's amazing. So I said, I told you, just listen to me, all right? And so like, Reach has got such amazing talent. So, we discussed and, till all hours of the morning sometimes just talking about, what's going to work. And then she had to do homework, and then she had to do marking, and then she had to do the book. And I said, well, stop whinging and just get to work, all right?
And Boori, we should point out that not all books go through such a close author-illustrator relationship.
Yes, true.
Mm.
And it's funny because Jan and I did the same thing with Shakerly.
Yes.
Because we were locked up in the prison over at the Fremantle Children's Literature Centre.
Mm-hmm.
And she was there, and I showed her some photos of Laura, and then the book came about from that. So then I showed Erica the artwork, and they said, we're going to do a book. And then the book just came about from that. And we won the Prime Minister's Literary Award with that. That. And again, I didn't know where it was going, and I just had this idea of putting a blackfellow in a pizza shop, So it was like, yeah, because I went and saw Kill Bill 2, and I thought there's lots of tomato sauce in there, and I loved that all the genres that he had. He had like cartoon, he had black and white, he had slow-mo, he had like all of these things in the one film, and I went, oh, this is so cool. And then I went to the Dome, which is a little coffee shop place, and I looked up and I saw this map of the world, and I thought, I wonder if a snake could be going from there to there. So that's where I got the idea for the map. Mm-hmm. So that's all of those things came about just from, and then we started writing. And then Jan did that, and then, we never went through the normal process of okay, we've got the story, now we have to get an illustrator. You can't see each other until we organise it, then all of a sudden we meet each other, you know?
Yes.
It's like, no, I like that Jan and I kind of met and we decided, and then Rita and I met, know each other, and we decided, and I said, no, I'm not going over, she's doing it. So, and then of course they turned around and said, this is the best decision you made us make ever, So now she's on the radar of everybody, but I'm just telling her that I found her first. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's brilliant. She's just really good.
And the book absolutely reflects that deep connection that you have with each other, and the deep thinking that you have done across this, because it's completely it's like the text and illustrations are completely united.
Yes, and I spoke to the Courier Mail the other day, and the young man that interviewed me picked up on the fact that through the words are all said, then in the as readers' idea to have the string person, and this is what the preschoolers love. They love the string person. Yes. The kids love the DNA person or the string person. They go, can we have a closer look at that? And then they go, so what happens if you pull the cord forever and then fully disappear?
It's such a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah. So it's like, I love that that's in the head of these kids, these little 4 or 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then Rita's so clever. She's put in like feathers and leaves for the kids to collect and count.
Yes.
And she's also put in the footprints, where the kids love the footprints. And of course, if you didn't know, there's a little gecko in there, hidden in every page.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, don't tell anybody else out there. Don't tell anyone, all right? And one little girl picked it up to say, "There's a little lizard." And I said, "Yeah, you've got it already,
Yes.
So it's and then you've got the opening up of the, I call it the apple peel, which is the face and the eye looking back at the past.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you've got, in there, you've got all the pictures. So then you don't need to say it in the words.
Yep.
Yes, there is. It is a book for a lifetime, really. It's not
Sure.
isn't it? It's not a one day. It is a true. It's actually it's looking at the land.
Yep.
That's what it's absolutely drawing you into, and your words really get us to think. And this is the piece. It's getting all of us to think. It is in unity that we think about this
together.
It's for everybody. This is the book for, to really think about. Yes, how do we all take responsibility and play a part in this healing and uniting through the stories.
And in that way, we'll heal ourselves,
Yes, that's what we're, and it's not from a black perspective, it's from a perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no colour or race really.
No.
It's just defining, it's making the words breathe so there's space for you to breathe, when you're reading it.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of more so the point, I suppose, and it's not a quote real poetry in a sense. It's just verse shifting, I think.
Yeah.
And most times when I write is I've got this other book that I'm halfway through that. Whatever I want to write, I'll write. If verse comes into my head, I'll do verse.
Yes.
If just telling a story through a voice is there, well, I'll do that. If something, so it's like I'm never restricted to I suppose, what some young writers do. I've got to write for a genre, no, just write for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we want to know about you. How do you feel? Not what you think other people, want you to feel. It's like, so I think, and it's easy to say sometimes and not do because, one person brings out a vampire book and it does really well. Everybody does 5 million vampire books,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
everyone brings out a Walking Dead one and there's like a million trillion other Walking Dead stuff, which is okay. But, you've seen one Walking Dead and they look the same, So it's like just something a bit different, just, songs are the same, songs and music are the same. And I think that what I kind of like talk about the old style, the old music is you can hear the words.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of times people have great voices, but they get lost in their voice. They're not telling you the story. They're telling you how great their voice is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the same as writing. You've got to step outside and leave your ego at the first line, I suppose, and just write from inside yourself and for yourself. And then if anybody else wants to be part of that, they can.
Yep.
I think that's such a great message just for our young writers as well, isn't it?
Yes.
It is about voice and trusting.
Yep. Yes.
Trusting what you have to say and not to be afraid to go into your head too, to work out what is it that you're trying to say, but to let it flow, not to be constrained, as you say, by a particular genre or a particular form. And I think that's what really comes through in your book too, is that there is, whilst you talk about it as written as verse, to me it is all rhythm. It is
that's more so rhythm. Yes.
Yes, there is a clear, but it's not the same rhythm throughout. There is, you can stop at certain points because that's what the rhythm wants you to do, is say, slow down here. Really pause longer. It's
Take a breath. Yes.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree, and I think that working at Rita's, Rita works at Ingham High, and I've been doing lots and lots and lots of work up there.
Yes.
And this one particular time I did, and this is for the kids out there that want to write, and also the teachers, is that I was I was doing this. I did 3 days at the high school, then I did 2 days at giving you the heads up at Ingham High. There, I'm talking about you here.
Yes, and hello to everybody there, and Rita.
Yes, Rita. They call her Ripper Rita. So hi, Ripper Rita. And I did 11, 12s, 9s, and then I did the 7s, right? On the last day, on the Wednesday, and then I did the primary schools on the Thursday, Friday. So I did the 7s. I think I did the 7s on Tuesday, and I did like 3 sessions, and then I did a masterclass in the afternoon where we just brought the bean bags in, the water bottles, and sat down and talked for an hour and a half, just telling stories, scary stories, whatever, and just having fun and just talking about writing and just giving ideas, not so much a writing session, but just the whole thing where they could ask me whatever. And there was this one young girl came in and she was like walking around like she was lost. And I said, "Are you okay?" And then she looked at me. She said, "Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here." "What do you mean?" She said, "I don't think I'm a very good writer." I don't think I'm a very good writer either, and apparently I've done 6 books. She goes, "Come and sit down." So she came and sat down. And then she was hanging around at the end, and I said, "You're right." She goes, "Yeah, look," she said, "if I write something, will you read it tomorrow?" I said, "Sure." So, what year 7's going to go home and write some stuff for me to read? She comes in next day.
Yeah.
But Rita and I were in the staff room, and she comes in. She goes, "Oh, she's got it." So she'd written it on her phone.
Oh, wow.
So I'm reading it. So Rita's sitting down beside me, and she's writing as she usually does, marinating, and she's writing, and she writes this down. Unassuming. Sienna, that's the girl's name, young girl's name. Sienna attended the workshop, not sure about. Didn't think she was any good at writing. She responded really well when asked questions about what she thought of the stories Boori shared, and was able to share her thoughts next day. Came and found Boori to share what she wrote at home after the session. She wrote it on her phone. She's listening to Boori. She didn't know she was allowed to write like that. Listening to him helped her find her voice. In the past, teachers told her to choose either a poem or a story, not to mix them. Boori was brought to tears, I'm a big sook, to tears reading her work, and marveled at the similarities in her style to his, conversational, using metaphors and imagery, and the delicate dance of words playing together, magical. So this is what she brought in the next day that she wanted me to read. And it's called, this is what she wrote as a year 7 overnight on her phone. She said, "A poetic recipe. Sienna Kratz, year 7. Hi, Sienna. Writing is just like baking a cake. Baking a cake full of words. Words with emotions like horror, love, and sadness. These words bond together to make sentences. And these sentences bond to make a wonderful delicacy of flowing lines for inquisitive readers. And just like any cake, writing needs a recipe that includes grammar, punctuation, and spelling. A recipe that involves imagination and self-writing style. Some love to leave small drops of sarcasm. Experienced ones know how to make you guess an ending until the book corrects you right at the end. Comedians love to tickle people with the humor in their story, whereas others love to leave sugary surprises through the cake for you to find and read the clue to where the next one is. They love to have exquisite plots that twist and twirl the reader's minds as they slowly chew through the cake, piece by piece. Some love to touch the reader's heart as it opens to the author's writing. Sad, angry, happy. So many flavors, sour, salty, and sweet. what flavour is your style? Because only you can write the sentences that make your writing style yours, and nobody else can write your sentences. And after all that, the cake is baked and iced and ready to taste.
I think that's Australia's next best author coming.
There you go.
And that is the teacher. What did she just teach us?
Yep.
There you go.
My word. Well, that is
Extraordinary.
We're announcing that right now, aren't we? That what if she didn't ever find out that she could write? That voice was already there, and that she could write in whatever way.
You unlocked it for her.
Wow.
And also she picked up on everything that I discussed in the class. So I went through sarcasm, because I read out this poem, I read out this verse that I've written. I'll just give you the first verse so I can remember it, called Words Are History. And then I picked out all the words that people hide behind. I go, invasion. Oops, so that word sounds so intrusive and not inclusive at all. Oh, you'll settle for settle. Okay, I'm sorry. So it's like I read that out and see sarcasm, so she put that in there.
Yes,
and I talked about writing style in your own. And I said, because they love fishing up there. I said, who loves fishing? I said, well, and said, okay, have you ever gone fishing and thrown your line in and you start catching lots of fish, and all of a sudden someone, a dude or a dudette down the creek, comes up and sees you catching all the fish, and they throw their line in to where you're catching all the fish? They go, that's happened all the time. And I said, well, don't be that dude or dudette. Go and use your own bait, and catch your own fish. Yeah, because that's what I want to know, is that I want to taste the fish that you write. And so she got that as well, about writing style, sarcasm, also humour in the. But the best thing about it is that the best thing she loves doing is baking cakes with her mum.
Yes, yeah. And so she could bring all of that.
Yes.
All of that to that idea. Yeah.
But I love the way you bring your life experiences into it all, Boori, and that connects with the kids. I mean, that's what teachers can do,
yes.
To get a really strong relationship going with them. Yep. You're being upfront and honest about all the scary, funny things that have happened to you as a kid, and you're just bringing that into their lives, and then they know they can do it.
As all teachers should do, actually.
Yes.
and you know what I mean? It's like talking about, kids love you because, they go, oh, miss, you're in the supermarket. You're shopping. Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we might wrap up there.
Sorry, gas bagging away.
That's been wonderful.
Thank you. We are so privileged. Thank you for just opening up on all, not only processes, but on pain and on voice and on unlocking and finding ways of
connecting with kids.
Yep.
So from this week on,
the book's available.
Story Doctors will have been launched in Townsville.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Boori,
everybody knows Sienna and Rita now and Ingham High. So that's
yes, I know. We'll be getting them on shortly, won't we?
Yeah.
Because
you can get actually. If you want to ring Rita up, I'll make sure you can have a yarn to Rita as well.
Yes, yes.
If you want to do that, she'd love that.
Oh, and this is such a rich experience for people to be able to not only use, share, engage, and go deep into the book, but to be able to have your insights into it too, because that adds so many more layers to what we as teachers can then bring through through the book.
And I think that's really important, that the teachers don't be afraid. Just grab it, hold it, love it up, look at it yourself, test it, read it in the mirror, read it, whatever, talk to yourself about it, and just see how you're going to spread the word through that book.
And the story is theirs forever.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think
Boori, I've got some quick questions for you. If you, just a bit of fun at the end. A most interesting story from your childhood, or would you have something there?
Nearly get eaten by a crocodile.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love telling that story to the little kids because I scared them. And I say, you know what? I was that scared that, the thing nearly bit my leg off. And you know what? My body was that scared that where the crocodile nearly bit my leg, there's no hair growing there. And they go, what? And then, so you know what I do ahead if I'm going to tell it, I get the shaver out and I shave my leg.
That's brilliant.
And they go, wow.
So where were you when that happened?
Down fishing, down the Bowie. I think I was about 12, I think.
Yeah, yep.
And I was going, I wasn't supposed to go, but that's okay. We won't mention that.
Now, this is a hard question. How do you think you learned to read?
How do I think I learned to read?
Because a lot of people can't really remember because it was back early.
I think Mum and Dad were the catalyst for that.
Yeah.
Because they would read things out of the paper to us, and they would also read books. But also, the teachers at the primary school were really good.
Yeah.
Like at Garvin. And I never had a problem with words, with reading. I don't know, it came naturally, I think.
Yep. Yeah. Favourite book, song, or movie?
Movie is Shawshank.
Oh, Shawshank Redemption.
Yep. That's what's the other favourite song?
Book or song?
Book. Kay Cotty, I think, Going Around the World.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that one's stick. And also, most people I know think that I'm crazy, Billy Thorpe. And what was the other one?
That's it.
That was it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you said you loved the Beatles and
the Beatles, of course.
Yeah.
The Beatles
Yeah.
and
Shakespeare.
but also Motown, the Beatles, Motown,
Yeah.
the Stones, from back then, and also I don't know. There's lots of other great music that's come about from since then, but it's hard to match up with greatness.
Yeah, that's right.
Really.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
it is different. It is.
Yeah.
So I think I was young people and old people. I was over in Esplanade, and one of my mates' son's girlfriend was sitting there, and he's a muso, and I said, "Oh, can you put it on my iPod?" And this young girl looked at me and go, "You got an iPod?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was a dinosaur. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, we got phones now." Yeah. I said, "I've got a phone. Why don't you have it?" I said, "Because I like my iPod. All right, so leave me alone."
Yeah, yeah. Exciting.
So aren't they funny?
They are. They are. Exciting, wondrous parts of your career and best tip for youngsters in thriving in a career.
Allow yourself to make mistakes. Be true to yourself. Fall over, but try your best to get up. If you need help to get up, ask for it.
Yep, yep.
Oh. Boori, thank you so much for being so generous.
Yes.
And
it's such a story of hope, a hope for Australia, healing for Australia. It's a big message in this book, and
thank you. And I think that I think really deep down inside we all want the same thing.
We do.
Yeah.
But it's just that we're all, like the scientists still haven't found what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're even looking for it.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Sometimes,
But we and so because we're not necessarily looking for it, that's why we need to have some stories brought to us so that we can start doing that thinking and start looking.
Yeah, and questioning.
And I think that's what Story Doctors will do.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, and I think it's 370-something words, sums up 80,000 years.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
And string person, I love the fact that the string person's, also unravels the parts.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, it's a wonderful
And
analogy.
So clever.
I'll leave you that image of, if you pull the string, will he disappear? You keep pulling the string.
That's such a kid question.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
I
right.
just think of the best things. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks
All
so
right,
much,
thanks.
Boori, and thanks so much for your time, and thank you, Sharon, and
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
been-
Thanks, Phil. Yep.
it's been great having you on, and good luck with the book, and good luck for the launch, and have a great day
Thank you.
on the launch.
And hopefully we'll have a cup of tea when I'm allowed back in Adelaide.
Yes, I would love to
yes.
catch up with you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I always stay out at Vale Park, out at
yes.
the Caravan Park down there. I'm
Yep.
letting the whole of Adelaide know.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
coming.
They can all come around. We can sit around the oval there. They got a little footy oval there. We can sit there and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, can't we?
$500. That'd be cool.
And they can get their book signed.
Yes. Well, hopefully I'll be going to the Writers' Festival next year.
Ah,
So,
yes,
Right.
yes.
I'm pretty sure I'm up, hopefully, because I go there every year anyway.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yes.
My head and say good day to people.
It's a wonderful week to be in Adelaide. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the best time in the whole country.
Yeah.
For that month,
Yes. Yeah,
shouldn't be anything else but Adelaide.
that's right. It's a beautiful
It
place
is
to be.
the place to be.
And,
Yeah.
and you don't have to pay me to say that, but you can put me up in a nice flash hotel. That'll be.
We'll get SA Tourism to sponsor or something.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
Okay. Thanks, Boori. We'll catch you
No
soon.
worries. Thanks very much. Hey.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. To make sure you don't miss any literacy learning tips and insights, please subscribe to our show on your favourite podcast player. At Q Learning, our literacy specialists draw on over 30 years of teaching and international consulting experience to deliver world-class learning solutions. We equip, empower and support teachers to become their authentic selves. To find out about upcoming webinars and about how Q can help you and your school, visit qlearning.com.au. And you can get even more amazing teaching resources right now at teachific.com.au. Stay tuned.